Hi guys, I'm working on a 2008 Chevy Impala. You gotta excuse me, I've been out of sorts a little bit. My best friend was just diagnosed with pancreas and liver cancer, and my head hasn't been here 100%. I meant to film this whole thing and I screwed up with the video footage, so I'm doing a reinstall now, but it's a reverse for uninstalling, you know, removing the battery. I had corrosion on my battery tray and underneath it, so I wire brushed that up and painted it with this Miracle Paint, which encapsulates rust and seals it. So rust is over for here. It looks a little weird being white, but I don't care. I'm not looking to resell this car. I'm gonna run this to the ground. It's got 155,000 miles on it now. Gonna keep going with it. There's 4 10mm bolts that hold the pan in. Then I forget the size for the battery to get that out, and these 3 body mounts here for this brace. You just got to unplug this clip from the battery cable. To remove the battery, you're going to want to take off the little 10mm fasteners that hold your reservoir bottle on. You can just throw that up on the top of the engine out of the way, and remove these other 2 fasteners that are 10mm to lift the fuse box up. You just got to move it over a little bit to get the battery out. That way you're not fighting to get around the upper radiator hose. And I do believe I filmed the rest with removing the water pump and the thermostat. So I put some of that on my shock towers too, because they were getting all corroded. So multicolored, huh? Look at that. That Miracle Paint is good stuff. This guy on Mercedes Source swears by it. He's been using it. It's proven itself with long-term durability, and the rust has not returned. So something to consider if you want to stop rust. I'm going to put it on my fuel and brake lines and undercarriage on a couple of my cars. I bought a gallon of it. I got the white for cheaper than the black. I don't care what color it is. It's going to be under a vehicle. It's not going to be white for long. So, all right guys, I hope this video is useful, and I'm sorry for the editing and the filming of this being so haphazard and screwed up. My mind's not here. All right guys, bye bye. Wendy's out with the puppies enjoying the sunshine. Got Honey roaming around over here. Honey's a mama's girl. Coco owns me, right Coco? You own me? Yes you do, you train me well. Yeah, right, hopefully there's some footage here to put a video together. We'll see when I get my program up. Hopefully I didn't screw up completely with filming this. You're gonna start by removing these 3 bolts on this brace here. You can unplug this cable that goes to the positive battery cable. Then you're going to need, I believe, 10mm to take the battery cables off. Always disconnect your ground first. This is a good time. I've noticed that I have some rust on my battery pan, so I think I'm going to hit that with some Miracle Paint that I bought and rust proof that, keep that from rotting out. I have an extra circuit in here because I wired in an air horn, because there's a lot of drivers around my area. To get the battery out, to make it easier, just take this the water reservoir off, and these other 2, these should be 10mm as well. Nope, they may be 11mm for the fuse box. Yep, just take those 2 off of the fuse box so you can lift the fuse box out of the way. It'll just make it easier to get the battery out. These cheap little press screws. I hit everything with a little PB blaster. I believe these are 10s. Those are 10s on the water bottle. You guys that watch the channel, let me turn the camera around to me. You guys that watch the channel, up, dirt on the camera lens. You guys that have watched the channel for a while probably noticed that Frank's not here. He's usually around, give me a hand often. Real bad news. He was getting abdominal pain, and he went to the emergency room, and he got diagnosed with liver and pancreas cancer. It was pancreatic cancer that bridged over to his liver. Frank's actually my best friend, so I'm pretty wigged out over this, and I don't even know how to wrap my head around this. It's all happening too fast. This just happened Tuesday, a week ago. So, pretty devastating news for him to try to absorb, you know. Let's hope that he has good luck. He's going to an oncologist today, so hopefully there'll be some kind of treatment they can do to slow this down. That's the bad news. I guess Frank will come on one of the videos and let you guys know about it. Okay, just some news. Bottle up out of the way. You don't even have to disconnect it. This just lifts off of here a little bit. Oh, duh, I forgot to loosen a battery. I think that might be a 15 mil. Maybe a 14. Let me try a 14. Need a longer extension. Nope. $13 mil. $13mm bolt for the battery release. I took that all the way out. I'm going to put a little Never-Seez on that. You don't want that rotting out from the bottom, and then you can't get your damn battery out. I'm gonna pull that whole block right out of there. Yeah, loosening the fuse box does make it a little easier to get the battery out. I have to admit, I never removed that before. I used to just push in the upper radiator hose and finagle it out, but it's actually easier loosening that fuse box up and setting that on the side. Yeah, we got a lot of crud down here. I doubt those battery pan bolts will come out of there. I'm going to clean that up. I'm not going to waste your time with that. I'm going to brush all that crap off and hit those battery pan bolts with some PB Blaster. If you're going to take your battery pan out, it's 4 10mm bolts holding it in. I thought it was 3, it's 4. There's another one over in the corner right there. Hopefully the acid has not corroded the heads where you can't get them out. I had one that I thought that was going to be the case. I took a hammer and hammered the socket on there. I couldn't get a wire brush in there to clean it up, so I just hammered a socket on there, and then I got it to come loose. Now this is the last one. Let's hope we have good luck with this as well. Yeah, we did. It broke free. I love this tool, this AC Delco power ratchet I got. It makes things go so much quicker. If you do work on your own cars, definitely worth it. I got the 3/8 and the 1/4 inch drive. Look at that, how easy when you're working in awkward, pain in the ass places to get to. What a time saver. 146 bucks that one was online. I found them cheaper now after I bought it. I found them for less, but yeah, the paint is all eaten off of that. Yep, rust was starting to get to that. So we're going to paint down in the body area as well. That Miracle Paint, I don't even need to get all the rust off with that stuff. You can paint right over it and it encapsulates it and stops the corrosion. I'll show you this stuff when I'm getting ready to use it so you know what brand it is. This guy on Mercedes Source on YouTube used it. He's been using it on Mercedes for a long time. It's been tried and tested to work. He's put it on and had good long-term results, so I'm trusting it. And we're going to see how it works out on my vehicles. I'll recommend it to people because it seems to be the thing that does the trick. Rust is a bitch, especially in the Salt Belt. I'm in northeastern New York and everything rots here. All right. I could have sworn I brought the light out. I did. Yeah. I'm sorry guys, I was on the phone with Frank and I was doing stuff here. It's just those 5 bolts. I told you what size they were for the water pump. If you're putting in a new thermostat, it's 2 10mm. You're going to need a deep wall to get on the one because it has a stud that the harness bracket, there's a harness little bracket that slides over the stud. It's not adhered there with any kind of fastener or anything. Just slides right on it. Now I can't get the thermostat off of the hose, so I'm trying to get the housing out of here. It's easier to take this hose off when you still have thermostat housing to the block. I might have to put it back on to get this hose off. My thermostat is frozen in there. back on and then pull the hose off. Oh well, never say easy. Dirty word. Easy's a dirty word. Easy will get you in trouble. These come in handy. Hose clamp pliers. You can get them on eBay or Amazon pretty cheap. Sometimes you get these hose clamps in pretty wacky positions and they're hard to get to. A bent needle nose works great most of the time, but sometimes they're a real hassle to get in there. They'll put them in upside down during manufacturing. They're not considering how you're going to get them off. They're just going to think about the most efficient way for them to get them on. Quickest way to get them out the door. I think I should use a flashlight, huh? I don't think there was anything wrong with my water pump. I think my thermostat failed. The symptom I was getting with this was I heard a gurgling sound, and I'm hard of hearing, so I got a hearing aid, so I can't really tell the direction of where sounds are coming from. To me, it almost sounded like it was coming from a pulley. Pulleys don't make gurgling sounds. When I shut the car off, my reservoir started boiling. So, funny part is I didn't have high engine temperatures on my temp sensor. So go figure that one out. I'm not going to waste your time with me fiddling with this. I'm just putting this thermostat back on so I can get the hose off and then get the thermostat housing out so I can get the thermostat out of there. It's frozen into the housing. You might have the same situation, so you might be better off popping the radiator hose off first and then taking your thermostat housing out. Clamp off with those clamp pliers. Now I'm just working on getting the radiator hose off. Having a set of pick tools is definitely a big plus. You run into this kind of crap because these things get on there and don't want to budge. And if you don't have something to get under there, you're going to have a big pain in the ass. I'm having a pain in the ass even with a pick. Try to work it all the way around there. I got the top part off. It'll be hanging up on the bottom. Let me see if I can wiggle it loose. There it goes. It's coming. There we go. What a pain in the ass. Alright, now I gotta get that thermostat housing out. Again. Alright, same old nonsense, not gonna waste your time with it. To take the housing, put it on a vise like this, and take a hammer and drive it through to get the thermostat out. Then I went around with my screwdriver cleaning up a little bit of the crusties. This car has had regular water put in it at some point. I use distilled water in the cars. This is what happens from regular water. It causes oxidation with the aluminum and other metallic surfaces. So use distilled water with your antifreeze. Okay guys, fidgety to get in there. I got the bottom bolt in first. Seemed to be easiest. I tried the top and it was a pain in the ass. So try the bottom one first. Put the thermostat in the housing and set it in there and get your bolt lined up. Be careful not to cross thread this. Definitely start it by hand. You're going into soft material. I don't know if I got a torque spec on the thermostat housing. If you're not going to torque it, just don't go crazy over tightening it. Just snug it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. It's going into soft material again. You will strip that out. They're not big bolts. Let's try Google. Torque spec thermostat housing 08 Impala 3.5. Let's watch a YouTube video. Hey! Inch pounds or 7 foot-pounds, I would definitely recommend going with inch pounds. I have a 1/4 inch drive torque wrench with a 3/8 adapter on it, and I will set it to 89 inch pounds and snug that up. I like to torque things to spec. Sometimes I go just by feel, but if I can get the torque spec and do it, I like to do it. Okay guys, torque them up.